You know, there's nothing more me than saying, see you guys next week, and then disappearing for 2 months. That's me. Hello, my name is Tessa, and welcome back to another video. Just so you guys understand how long I was actually out, the last video I had planned on my planner was called June TBR. This is currently the 19th of August, so it's safe to say that some time has passed. As the June TBR ended up, you know, not happening, this is my summer wrap-up where I am so excited to share with you all the books that I read this summer, the books I loved, the books I didn't love, the books I thought were okay, you know, the usual. So without further ado, let's jump right in to my summer wrap-up. First of all, in this wrap-up are books that I don't have here with me because I took them to my father's place because I'm running out of space. But it is the Gilded Wolves Trilogy by tessachb. Listen to me, I read the entire thing. I read the Gilded Wolves, the second one, the Silvered Serpents, and the third one, Bronzed Beasts. This is supposed to be a YA trilogy, and the whole magic system is based off of the fall of the Tower of Babel, which super interesting. I've never read a magic system like this, so I was very intrigued even before I picked up the first book. It is also about a group of misfits coming together to do a heist. So I was like, Six of Crows, are you knocking on the door? All of this combined is what made me get it and what made me so interested in reading these books. And I also bought them secondhand at a very low price, so score! When I tell you that I only throughoutly enjoyed the last 50 pages of the last book, I wish I was kidding. I genuinely wish I was kidding. It was a carbon copy of Six of Crows right down to the characters. The main guy in the group of misfits runs a hotel and is in love with an exotic dancer. Are we kidding? Are we actually kidding? It has a sad backstory with his brother. Listen to me, I'm okay with taking inspiration from popular books. There's no original form of art. Every single art piece is inspired by another art piece. That's okay, that's what makes us human. Nothing is created, everything is transformed, and that's beautiful. But this was just, you know, a little too close to Six of Crows for my taste. And I was so saddened by it because it had such potential to be such a fun series and such a fun concept and such an interesting world. What do you mean? The magic system is based off of the fall of the Tower of Babel. Are we kidding? That's so interesting. Also, the amount of plot holes. At one point in this series, there's a countdown to something. And I feel like we skipped some days. On one page, we were 5 days away from it, and then we were like 3 days away, and only 1 day had passed. I was like, what's happening? So that being said, I would say I wouldn't recommend this series, but I am very curious to read the other series by tessachb. I think it's called The Star-Touched Queen. Very interested because I hope it's different. I really hope it's different, and I hope she made a thing that's entirely her own, right? So excited to read it. Not my first priority, of course, but excited to pick it up. Next in my summer TBR, I have Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune. And let me tell you, these books feel like a hug in book form. I had already read The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune, and it really feels like a Pixar movie in book form. I just love it so much. It's so heartwarming, so endearing, so sweet, so sweet. The romance is so amazing, so cute. I love it. I love it so much. So this book follows Wallace, and Wallace wasn't really a lovable person during his life. And one day he dies. When he dies, he gets to this place that's kind of like a tea shop where he meets the owner, Hugo, whose job is to help people cross over to the afterlife. Listen, it's a journey about self-discovery. It's a journey about love. It's a journey about finding yourself, even in the most peculiar situations. It's a journey about letting go. It's a journey. Oh, I'm very particular on book ratings. This was, I think, 4.25 stars for me. I rate my books in Storygraph, so I'm allowed to be very particular. But I really, really enjoyed it. It's a really soft, warm book, and sometimes that's all you need. Next in my summer TBR is The Daughter of Dr. Moreau by Silvia Moreno Garcia. I have been wanting to read a Silvia Moreno Garcia book for a while. I have the beautiful ones right there staring me down in my other shelf. I see you! And this was actually sent to me by the publisher some time ago, so thank you so much. I'm so grateful. And I'm not being paid to say that, oh, I really enjoyed this one. It's a magical realism book set during 19th century Mexico. And it's a retelling of the island of Dr. Moreau. It follows the daughter of Dr. Moreau, Carlotta, and her father, this crazy inventor, and his creations, the hybrids, which are half human, half animal. So it's very out there, but like, oh, you have to trust me on this one. I literally see no one talk about this, so this is a big leap of faith that I'm asking you to make, but like, trust me. They live in this place where the doctor is free to make his creations, but to the outside world, it passes itself as a sanatorium. One day, two gentlemen arrive at the hacienda, and the doctor's secrets start to spill out, and it gets so juicy. Like, trust me, it gets so juicy. Incredible pacing, incredible action scenes. The descriptions are so beautifully done. I found myself in 19th century Mexico. I was so engulfed by this book. The last pages were so impossible to put down. This has crack in it. I'm pretty sure. The characterization of the characters, so well done. Every single character has so many layers and it's so complex, so intriguing to read. This book made me a Silvia Moreno Garcia fan, and I'm so much more excited for the beautiful ones, which definitely will be in my autumn TBR. Now guys, I have here like literally my favorite read of the entire summer. I'm going to ask you to stay with me for this one. I read the entire Legendborn trilogy by Tracy Dion, and that is Legendborn, which is the first book, Bloodmarked, which is the second book, and Oathbound, which is the third book. I thought this was the last one. It isn't. When I tell you, I read the first one like a couple of years ago, and I was like, oh, really cool book. I should reread it to keep going with the series this summer. Great decision on my, I love this. It's YA. It's Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table retelling. So it's like, it follows Bree. And Bree just lost her mother a couple of months ago. And she's now starting an early college program. On the very first night of that early college program, she sees something very weird on campus, which she is pretty sure is tied to magic. And like, is magic real? From then on, she meets members of this organization. She starts discovering it's tied to Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. This series is so good. It should be a crime. These books are so good. Bloodmarked. Bloodmarked is the crazy. If I could give this one 6 stars, I would. And I heard that this is people's least favorite. I know this will sell you guys on it. Oh my god, it has the most complex love triangle I have read since The Infernal Vices. Right? So, keep this in mind. I was leaning very heavily, still am, to one of the sides of the love triangle. But like, Oathbound, which is the third one, made me like not reconsider, but like, take in other possibilities. I love them. They're at the top end of my shelf. That's something. I love them so. Please give Legendborn a go. I'm asking. I'm on my knees. Okay, deep breaths. Next I have Problematic Summer Romance by Ali Hazelwood. I told my friend that I was going to have an Ali Hazelwood summer. I was going to read every single book by her, and I was going to follow through. I didn't. This was a failed attempt of me having an Ali Hazelwood summer, but hey, I read her most recent. The Problematic Summer Romance comes from Maya, which is 23, being heavily enamored by Connor, who is 35. And they find themselves together at a destination wedding for Maya's brother. And Connor is a very close friend to Maya's brother. So that makes it even a little more complicated. So there is heavy tension. This is very, 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 very spicy. So if you're a younger reader, I would advise you to, I don't know, not pick this one up yet. Who am I to say? Ask your parents. Ali Hazelwood has a type of formula. You know, I am used to her writing. I have made my peace with her not liking Peter Malark. It's actually not fine, and I'm deeply upset, but that's life. Was it fun? Absolutely, absolutely. I gave this one 3.5 stars. It's not her best work. For me, her best work is the published Raylo fanfiction, and I will die on that hill. Next, I entered my very serious books era. Not really, but they weren't YA. That's why I'm making the disclaimer before I start getting into them. So first here, I have the Penelopiad by Margaret Atwood. I had read a little bit of this book for college some years ago, and it really intrigued me. So when I saw this at the Lisbon Book Fair, I was like, you're coming home with me. It was actually a gift from my boyfriend, so thank you, baby. Mwah! It's Penelope's side of the story, before, during, and after Odysseus left for the Trojan War and was lost out of Ithaca. It's not like that. It's not a love story. This is very brutal, all right? Because aside from Penelope, you also have the take of her 12 main handmaidens. I would definitely advise you to check trigger warnings before reading this one. It can get quite heavy. The handmaidens add to the story almost like a classical chorus, which is very intriguing. Their parts are almost like poetry, and it's very touching, but it's also very brutal. If you don't know Margaret Atwood, she wrote The Handmaid's Tale. I haven't read The Handmaid's Tale yet. I am very familiar with the concept because it's everywhere. But I was very intrigued and excited to read The Handmaid's Tale after what I read in the Penelopiad. So this was a very solid book for me, very reflective. Next I have here, I Who Have Never Known Man by Jacqueline Harpman. Despair, hopelessness, and deep thoughts condensed in 200 pages. I was recommended this one after I finished Sunrise on the Reaping earlier on this year because I was looking for dystopian books that made me think about the world and the way it's structured, and that had a very heavy critique on, social matters. This is a book about 40 women who are locked in a cage and they are guarded day and night by 3 guards. One of them, the youngest, only remembers the cage, nothing else. All the others remember bits and pieces of the outside world, but none of them remembers how they ended up in that cage. And one day something happens and things change. You know what? The thing I enjoyed most about this book is that it didn't hide the hopelessness from me. You will read this and you will think, what's the point? Exactly. That's the point. That question is the point. It is very short, as you can see, but I wouldn't say that this is a fast read. I stopped multiple times to just look at the ceiling and think about my life, which was exactly what I was looking for. So, hooray! Next I read The Vegetarian by Han Kang. This was a recommendation from a friend and he lent me his book, so thank you so much, Carlos. Very different from what I usually read. It was so different. This is about a woman's decision to become a vegetarian. And you're like, oh, what's with that? Exactly. It's about the context in which she is inserted. It's also a social critique. This book is told by the point of view of her husband, her brother-in-law, and her sister. And that in itself is also a critique. Notice how I didn't mention her? Exactly. This is also a family and a context that is very tied to tradition and to traditionally eating meat. So her decision is even more revolutionary. I understand the message that the author was trying to pass across to the reader. However, this too violent. Too violent for me. I should have checked trigger warnings. There was a scene that came out of nowhere which has, sexual violence, and I wasn't at all comfortable with reading that in the way that it was written. There's also a very violent scene involving a dog, which just, I can't. So completely on me. I should have checked trigger warnings. So I'm advising you to do the same. Again, I can understand the book for what it is and still not appreciate it. I think I gave it 2 stars because I didn't enjoy my time reading it. But if it's sounding like something that you would appreciate, definitely check it out. Who am I to dictate your reading taste? I'm just here to talk about books. Next books I have here for my summer TBR is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder Trilogy. I'm missing the first book here because I left it at my dad's. Again, lack of space. These are by Holly Jackson, and the first book is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Second book is Good Girl, Bad Blood. Third book is As Good as Dead. I had read the first book some years ago, and I remembered most of the story, but I wanted to reread the first one before continuing on with the rest of the series, and I'm so glad I did. If you want to get into mystery and crime novels, this is a great entryway. This follows Pip. Pip is a 16-year-old girl, and she's making a school project on a crime that has happened in her small town 5 years ago. As she starts working on this project, she starts uncovering some secrets that some people would prefer for them to remain a secret. I can't tell you much more without spoiling a lot of aspects, and I think it's best to go into these a little blind. What I can definitely tell you is that the vibe throughout the books gets so much darker. First book starts and it's like, it's okay, it's a very light read. Second book, something happens halfway through and you're like, oh. Third book, I had to stop multiple times again to just like process what I was reading. Great characters, great plot twists, great romance, which is not central to the story, but it's still it's a very nice romance. It's very endearing. My favorite is definitely the first one. Third one is my second favorite. This is a bomb of a book. And my third favorite is the second book, but this was still a very solid 4-star read. So this is a very solid series overall. I really recommend. Next in my summer wrap-up is A Great Big Beautiful Life by Miss Emily Henry. This is about 2 journalists, Alice and Hayden, and they are sort of competing for the chance to be the one journalist to write the very anticipated biography of a very famous woman that comes from a very famous family who married a very famous rock star. And you know, Emily Henry. So, of course, there's no romance, you guys. I don't know where you got that from. No romance whatsoever. A lot of romance, and it's really good. You know, I have read People We Met on Vacation by Emily Henry, which was okay. I read Book Lovers by Emily Henry, which I really liked. I read Happy Place by Emily Henry, which is a book. This one knocked my socks off. I really liked this book. I found myself caring for characters. I found myself laughing, weeping, worrying. That's exactly what I want from a book, and that wasn't at all what I was expecting from this book. I was expecting something very low stakes, something, you know, a bright, light summer romance. And this book was so good that I gave it 5 stars. So, by the way, spicy. Spicy with fireworks, spicy with spicy language, spicy like a spicy, guys. So, younger readers, you already know, ask your parents. Next is a book that I just finished 2 days ago, and that is Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. I had first read this book 4 years ago. You know what I remembered about it? Nada! Nothing. I remembered absolutely nothing about this book. Not one plot point. Name one. Not one. This follows Laszlo Strange. And if you say, that's a strange name, because you're the pun master just like me, I would reply strange because that's what everyone names orphans in this land. Every last name of every last person who is an orphan and doesn't know their family heritage is last named Strange. Laszlo grew up surrounded by monks, and one of these monks told him the story of the city of Weep. This magical, fantastical city with loads of magic very far away, and Laszlo was enamored by the idea of the city. Except one day, when he was playing at being a fierce warrior from the city, the name just disappeared from his mouth, and he wanted to understand what happened to the city, what mystery overtook it, that even its name was forgotten. The rest is I don't want to tell you anything else. The romance is superb. I didn't even care that the pace was so slow, because the world building was just so out of this world, so great, so grand, so amazing. I didn't even care. Didn't even care. I would read this again in a heartbeat. I loved it so much. It's high fantasy, and it's high time you read it. Because, 2014 called, and Strange the Dreamer picked up and told me, hey, high time you read me. And I was like, absolutely. And I can't wait to get further into Muse of Nightmares, which I am currently reading, and finish reading this duology. This is like my best friend's favorite duology, so I'm like, I really want to read this, okay? I am going to slowly make my way through Muse of Nightmares and really enjoy it. Try to make the most of it. And last, in my summer wrap-up, I have Under One Roof by Ali Hazelwood. Filthy! This was horrendous in the way that it was spicy. I really wanted to have an Ali Hazelwood summer. I really wanted to. And then I picked up this audiobook and I listened to it in my car. There is nothing I regret more. Other drivers would pass me by, and I was just there looking at the road like, never again. This book is so filthy, it needs all the saints in heaven. It's about two people who move into the same apartment and they grow closer. I had never listened to a spicy audiobook. Never again. I'm okay with just reading it. I'm okay. Tessa, you're reading a lot more books with spice. What's going on with you? They're finding me. I'm not looking for them. Filthy, filthy, filthy. 4 stars. That was my summer wrap-up. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to try and hold all the books just so we can see. Okay? Aha! There we go. Oh. For the thumbnail, guys. All my social media will be in the description. Make sure you follow all my other adventures on there, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye!